Hey, it's Ryan over at 2 Minute Tennis, and in this video, I'm going to cover the #1 double strategy mistake and how to avoid it. A big shout out goes to Matt Lynn for this footage. Please give him a sub. I put his link in the description below. His account is incredible, amazing college footage. You've got to check him out. So check out the video. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. All right, let's do it.
Now let's look at this piece by piece, shot by shot, and let's check out really why Air Force lost this point. So you've got the return to serve. It's a bit of a shank by the USC player. You can even see hits the bottom of the frame, and the ball actually pops up to the Air Force player. Now, the most common aiming mistake I see in amateur doubles is net players hitting to baseliners. It is so important for your win-loss record that you actually win enough points to win the match, that you hit balls that are high or even around head level to the feet of the net player. When you are up at net, your goal is to pick on the other net player because they have less time to react. But here you see the Air Force player hitting the ball back to the baseliner. Now, the baseliner has lots of time to react. That's the whole reason why this shot doesn't end the point. When you've got a high ball, pick on the net player. So here you've got one up, one back, and two up. Now, this is a dominating position for the Air Force team. Even though they didn't win the point on that high ball because the ball was hit to the baseliner, they still are in really good position to have a chance to win this point. So then we look at the next shot. Here's a ball. The ball is, let's say, around chin level. And he's standing near the center of the box. And this is a situation where you can easily hit the ball low to the net player's feet. And when you hit low to the net player's feet, then you quick pinch and you move in tight. And then they have to pop the ball up, and then you put the ball away, kind of anywhere you want to. But he doesn't. He hits this ball down the middle. Now, even though he makes it land kind of pin high, if you know what I mean, from a golf standpoint, he makes it land right next to the feet of the net player. He hits it on the baseliner's side. If he would have hit this ball this direction, then the net player would not have reacted, the same as he's not reacting here, but then it would have been way too far for the baseliner to get it. But the baseliner is able to get this ball. So again, one up, one back, both up. The two net players, the Air Force players, have each had a ball that they could pick on the net player, and they haven't done so, and that's why the point is still continuing. Here, the USC player shanks another ball, and now the Air Force player has another high ball. This is the perfect opportunity to pick on the net player, slam it at their feet. But he doesn't. He slams the ball straight down, and it pops up, and then the USC player is able to get his racket on it again. Again, this player right here has gotten off scot-free. They haven't had to do anything because the Air Force players keep hitting. I really should make that red. The Air Force players keep hitting the ball to the baseliner. The reason both up is the best way to play is because both players can now pick on the other net player. When you're both up against one up, one back, you have to pick on the net player. They have less time to react. If you pick on the baseliner, they have lots of time to react, and you'll always feel like you have to hit it harder and slam it, and you start taking actually a bigger risk to win the point when all you got to do is just hit to the side of the court that's being occupied by the person who is closest to the net. So then he's in a lot of trouble. You can see he's got that high backhand. He pops the ball way up into the air, which is smart, right? You're in trouble. You want to hit a defensive shot. A defensive shot is a lob. So he pops the ball up really high. That pushes the Air Force players back. The USC players can now attack. And now the entire point has shifted. Now the two net players are the USC players. all because Air Force had those 3 high balls and kept hitting it to the baseliner. So the ball goes down the middle. I love this. Look at this. They both go for this ball. So many players second guess themselves, right? So you got the 2 net players, and the Air Force player does a really good job of hitting down the middle. That's a really smart decision. And by the way, it's not going to be the forehand's job to hit that ball. That's typically what you hear amateur, club level, juniors, and adults saying, like, oh, if it's down the middle, it's the forehand. You can't think that way. It happens too fast. It's just who can get it. Who can get it first? You can see that the player on the right is a little closer to the net than the player on the left. So when the ball goes down the middle, it's naturally going to be easier for him to get that ball. So you can see he's the one who hits that ball with the backhand volley. But they both cover it up. That's great. Then they move back to their sides again. And then one last thing I will say, if you're going to lob in doubles, especially like a topspin lob, it's actually a little easier to hit this cross court because the court is longer. He ends up hitting this ball down the line, and the ball lands about 2 feet long. You can see this. The ball lands about 2 feet long. If he had hit this ball, if he had hit that same ball cross court and he had just hit it this direction, that ball would have landed in. The tennis court is longer cross court than it is down the line. And so hitting cross court lobs gives the ball more time to drop. I'm not exactly sure what the measurements are in doubles, to be honest, but in singles, down the line, as you know, is 78 feet, but from corner to corner is 82 and a half. It's an extra 4.5 feet longer when you measure it diagonally. So hitting that lob diagonally would have actually made sure that that ball landed in, even if he hit the exact same ball. So let's go over this one more time. You had the net player here who had one opportunity. Should have just hit it right at the feet. Again, you're not trying to hurt that person. In no way, shape, or form am I saying you should be aiming for their face, for their chest. You don't even have to hit it very hard. The fact that that person has very little time to react means that you don't have to kill it. In fact, it's rude if you crush it at them because it's not needed. Even a half speed overhead is going to win the point in that situation. But he ends up hitting that ball to the baseliner. And the baseliner gets the ball back. This player easily, and he really should have attacked this ball. He let this ball come to him. He should have moved more to that ball. He ended up kind of just staying right where he was. You want to get to that ball and kind of meet the ball halfway, if you know what I mean, instead of letting that ball come to him. He may have been able to play the ball a little closer to the net and higher, but that ball needs to be hit at the feet of the net player, and it should be hit on this side of him, right? You want to hit it low to that side. If he hits it to this side, as he does, and you can see it, that means the baseliner barely gets to the ball. Then the ball goes up in the air again, and here's another opportunity to hit it at the feet of the net player, and the net player hasn't had to do anything. Then the baseliner can lob it up. It pushes them back. Now the USC team is now both up at the net, and then they're the dominant team. The lob goes down the line and lands out. Hey, the next time you're playing doubles, and this happens nearly every point, when you get a high ball, you need to pick on the feet of the person closest to you. Do not, I repeat, do not make it a habit that you are hitting to the baseliner. Do yourself a favor when you get a high ball in doubles, pick on the feet of the opposing net player, and you're going to win a lot more doubles matches. Good luck.